Quantum physics and Marvel? No, it's not Ant-Man.
And I'm just here to showcase the problem when worlds collide.
Welcome to MTG Unraveled, where we each choose a magic card and over-explain it to distract you from your current hyperfixation. I'm Rafa.
And I'm Ryan. And yet again, here we are with another set coming out. So we are going to be talking about Marvel cards. By this point, yeah! By this point, most of the spoilers, if not all of them, have been dropped. So hopefully you guys have been taking a look. We're going to start off with guessing the cards. Let's go ahead and go with yours.
You got one in a white, enchantment, and it's a rare from the Commander set.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know you won't know. You're like,
Nope.
So the text box, the first line is beautiful. Flash.
Oh.
Yes. And then it also says, when this enchantment enters, and at the beginning of your end step, you may pay one in a white. When you do, exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control.
See, this is what I get for thoroughly skimming over all of these cards and just going, I guess I'll pick this one because, spoilers, I'm not super excited about this set. Good for you if you are. That's why we're talking about it. However, not my jam. But this sounds like a card that I would remember because I have a deck where I blink creatures.
That's true, yeah. No, this card is called Quantum Entanglement. It's got a sweet name, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Being like, I cast Quantum Entanglement. That just sounds cool to me.
Yeah, I bet it has a dumb art, though. Not because the art is bad. We're not. Artists are amazing. Awesome job. Your work is great. Just don't care for the Marvel theme.
Yeah. So I picked this card because it's a great card in Blink Strategies. Obviously, you could tell as soon as you heard the text box. It's 2 mana, and I think of it as a protection piece because it's 2 mana, blink your creature. So if it's got single targeted removal pointed at it, then you can pay 2 mana and say, no, I just get another enters trigger instead. That sounds better to me.
Yeah, and it's got flash, so you don't even have to have it out, and people won't know what's coming.
Yep. And speaking of art, it's illustrated by Oanis Fior. It's a depiction of Rick Jones and Marvel, which is Captain Marvel, being bonded by the Negabands, which I will get into.
I know what all of that means, obviously.
You know Captain Marvel. I'm sure you've at least heard that. No?
Yeah, I know of... I didn't watch the Captain Marvel movies.
Me neither.
I've watched more Marvel than you have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what formats can use this card? Technically, we don't really know yet, but it's a Commander product, so we can assume the huge Legacy, Vintage, Commander, and Oathbreaker. Now, if you were to guess the price of this card, what do you think this card costs?
Pre-release pricing, man. I don't think this is one of them that's going to be super high up there pre-release. Maybe like $10?
No, not even. It's $4.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
$5 for the foil. It's nothing. It's cheap, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's worth the $4 for pre-order.
Yeah, that's actually a reasonable price, I think.
Yeah, it might drop a little bit. This card's probably not like the most efficient, but I think it's worth running in most Blink strategies. And I'll get into why I think that a little bit more in a second. But first, it's got flavor text. It says, Marvel is part of me now, like I am part of him. Or like I am of him, by Rick Jones.
Why are you saying it Marvel?
That's how it's spelled. Mar-Vell.
I thought you were just being dumb.
Being dumb? No. Marvel apparently is like how Captain Marvel was called before Captain Marvel. So let's get into the lore because the flavor text is perfect for it. So when they're bonded, Marvel and Rick Jones, one is in a protective bubble in a place called the negative zone, which as far as I can tell is like anti-reality. It's not like connected to reality or the universe. And the other is in the actual universe. And the one that is free can tap the bands together, the negabands, and switch places with the one in the negative zone. So they blink away. Kind of neat.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And obviously this ability, the ability that they share is based on quantum entanglement, where 2 particles are joined together.
Yeah.
Go watch other science videos for a further explanation into that. That's all you get. So I think of this card as a protection piece, like I said earlier. But the best thing about it is the ability to continue to blink if you need it. Because I've found in my blink deck, which is a white-blue deck, sometimes the piece I'm missing is repeated blinking.
Yeah.
You play those creatures with Enter's ability, and getting them once is fine. but you want to do it over and over again for the value. So even if you have to activate this thing once, besides just paying the 2 mana, at that point you've paid 4 mana for 2 blinks, which is better than a Conjurer's Closet the first turn you play it, or better than a Teleportation Circle the first time you play it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. Even if you have to pay 6 for 3 blinks total, that's still not bad in my opinion. It's not great.
No, and you do have the extra benefit of, again, being able to sneak it out and protect something, which you don't get with either of those cards that you mentioned.
No, you usually have other ones like Ephemerate for stuff like that.
Yeah, but those aren't repeatable.
No.
Ephemerate has Rebound, so...
Yeah, Ephemerate's better than this card, but I think both go in the deck is what I think. I just thought of a couple creatures that I'm like, would I pay 2 mana to blink this again? And Sun Titan, I'd absolutely pay 2 mana to blink that again. Witch Enchanter, if there's a problematic artifact or enchantment on the board. Skyclave Apparition, I'd pay 2 to blink that card again. It's pretty good. Yeah, and that's just the white cards. If you get into other colors, there's some juicy stuff. So what do you think of this card?
I think it's good. I'll have to take a closer look at it to see if it will make it into my deck, because I definitely err on the side of if it is too far off flavor or if it just feels wrong, then I will not put it in my deck. Even if it's like, oh my god, this is the best card you could ever put in this deck. It would be so broken. It would do all the things. If it looks dumb, I'm not putting it in. I've talked about this before, like Atraxa especially. I've definitely been like, no, I'm not putting that card in there.
I know, you need Mikey and Leo in there, and you won't put it in there.
I'm not putting the freaking Ninja Turtles with Atraxa. That's so ew.
I mean, I get what you're saying, though, because every Iron Man card, I don't even consider it. So, yeah, I'm an Iron Man hater. I don't need to explain it.
He's not an Iron Man hater. He's a Robert Downey Jr. hater. If anyone else played Iron Man, I think he'd be fine with Iron Man.
Benedict Cumberbatch would have made a better Iron Man. Just kidding.
Well, he's Doctor Strange.
Like he made a better Sherlock Holmes.
I like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies.
All right, let's get into your card.
Okay, my card is 3 and a red, legendary artifact, equipment, and it's a mythic.
Yep. I know this card. It's Embercleave Mini. Does it attach at instant speed?
No.
Oh. Well, never mind. I don't want this card.
Alright, text box. When this card enters, it deals 4 damage to up to 1 target creature. Double all damage equip creature would deal. Equip worthy 1. A creature is worthy if it's a legendary, non-villain that's red and or white. Then it has 2 and a red, discard this card, it deals 2 damage to each creature.
I have already seen a meme of this card and I don't remember the name of it. Is it just named after the hammer? Mjolnir? I don't know how to say it.
Yes, I'm talking about Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor. Not for good reasons. Alright, art. There are 3 different styles of art for this card. Because it's obviously like one of the staples of the Marvel series.
I mean, it's Thor's hammer.
It's Thor's hammer. So there's 3 different arts. The base one is by Wayne Reynolds, and it's just the hammer upside down, like it fell down into some it looks like a desert, like a barren wasteland, cracked, dry dirt, and it's got lightning coming off of it. Then the second art is the comic book style that they have, where it's got like the scenes, like it's split up in a comic book. It's Thor with the hammer, and then it's Thor going down with the hammer, and then it's Thor. And that is by Jim Chung and J. David Ramos. And then there is a full art card by Johan Grenier, and it's the hammer, like, in mid-throw, so no person, tearing apart some metal dudes. Don't know. It looks like maybe the dudes from the Iron Man movies, because there's, like, a whole bunch of, like, replica Iron Mans that come... There's no flavor text on any of them. However, on the base art, on the hammer itself, it has, whoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Problematic. We'll talk about it. What do you think the price of this card is?
I don't know. It's Thor's hammer, so it's going to be inflated. $15.
That's inflated?
Yeah, this card sucks.
No. Pre-release prices. For the base art, non-foil is sitting at $23.
What? I'm calling it now. The base version of this card is not going to stay at that price. There's no way. Unless I'm missing something about this card. But No way.
Obviously, this card is going to be in standard, and maybe it's got a place simply because of that discard clause dealing 2 damage to each creature. So let's get into a little bit of the lore behind Mjolnir, which is why I have a problem with this card. So Mjolnir is not just a weapon. It symbolizes Thor's role as a protector to both gods and humans against the chaotic forces of giants and other threats. Worthiness to lift Mjolnir is a mix of 3 different things: moral character, so compassion, restraint, nobility, wisdom, and humility are things that are brought up at some point in the comics. Odin's judgment, whether he deems you worthy or not. And sometimes within the wielder's own belief, that's brought up because when Thor starts to doubt himself, between Odin's judgment of saying no and how Thor feels within himself, he's not able to wield the hammer for a little while. It's not just about strength or magic, it's about whether the person is ready to use the hammer's power responsibly. Let's go over the equipped worthy again. A creature is worthy if it's a legendary, non-villain that's red and or white. According to Scryfall, there are 1,999 worthy creatures within the game of Magic. Other Universes Beyond cards that are worthy.
Oh, geez.
Jaws.
Yes.
Asterion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He obviously cares about the good of others and all that other crap. Saruman and Sauron.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's go.
They are worthy.
1 of 1 ring makes him worthy.
And then within the Magic universe, we have Elishnorn, Atraxa, Nicol Bolas, Valgavoth, and Arabella, the creepy-ass doll. She can wield Thor's hammer.
Sounds right to me.
No.
Yeah.
No, and this is my problem. Is you make this card, and it has this super, thematic thing about it, and it works well with that within the scope of the set that you're creating. And then you throw it in with the mix of all of the other all of the other universes that we have gone to, all of the magic lore that already exists, and it does not work.
So how would you fix it? Do you have a solution?
Nope.
Okay.
It maybe if I sat and thought about it for an extended amount of time, I could come up with some wording that would make it so, I had seen discussions about how villains should be included in the outlaws, because villains is relatively new as a subtype. If it was included in the outlaws, then you could say, then list. This is also something that, I don't know, it's how many words do you want to put on a card? And I know they've been trying to cut back on that, but there's something that you could do to at least restrain it a little bit.
My thought was if you take out non-villain and add in hero, has to be a hero, would work, but then you'd hardly be able to equip this thing to anything and none of it would sell.
Yeah,
so.
I thought about that too. I was you could make it can be equipped to certain things, but now you're making it not playable within the rest of the vast expanse of cards that we have, and we all hate cards that are so specific to a set because they're just not playable unless you create a deck that's based around that set, which some people do, and that's great. So now, let's take it a step beyond that, because again, we are taking Marvel into Magic, and Magic has its own wonky stuff. You can make any creature worthy if you really want to. You can use Painter's Savant and other things. Painter's Savant is an artifact creature scarecrow. As this creature enters, choose a color. All cards that aren't on the battlefield, spells, and permanents are the chosen color in addition to their other colors. Boom! It's now red or white. Having issues with the fact that it's not a legendary creature. Leyline of Singularity. And again, there are other ones that do the same effect. It's an enchantment for 2 blue. If this card is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. All non-land permanents are legendary. Final step, you want to make Loki the villain. Not a villain. We have a Meeboid Changeling for 1 and a blue, a creature shapeshifter, and it has tap, target creature loses all creature types until end of turn. It doesn't need to have a specific creature type, it just can't be a villain.
So Loki's just got to hang out with a creepy little starfish in order to pick up the hammer. Got it.
Starfish.
Whatever that. I don't know. It looks like a starfish to me.
What? It's like a goo boy.
Okay. Look, he's got to hang out with a creepy little goo boy in order to hold the hammer. Got it.
Yeah. And voila! Colossal Dreadmaw is now worthy of wielding Thor's hammer.
Sounds right to me.
Ta-da! I just don't like this set. I looked through all the cards, and it's not just the fact that it's Marvel and that's not really like my thing. I looked through the set, and there was barely a handful of cards that I even took a second glance at, just because most of them do things that I don't care to play. But I read, like, from people who know Marvel better. Oh, this is a great flavor win. This is a great flavor win. Here's why. Look at this comic. And that's great. It's very flavorful within its own little box. You take it out of the little box, it all falls apart, and that bothers the hell out of me because I love me my Phyrexians, but they should not be wielding the power of the Norse gods.
I mean, they basically took over some Norse gods already, so.
That's true.
So, do you feel like when it comes to Universes Beyond, this is the hammer hitting the nail in the coffin?
Yeah. So what do you think about the card?
I mean, it doesn't sound that good to me. It does do a lot, so maybe I'm just not evaluating this card properly, but it just doesn't sound that good. It's 4 mana, right? To just play it?
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot better equipment out already than this card. It's cool, and it probably is very flavorful, but I'm not playing this card. And I have a deck that cares about discarding in red.
I guess if you really just want to play Thor's hammer, then good on you, bud.
So I know you didn't really care for too many of the cards, but I had a few other ones that I saw that I'm like, ooh, I'm going to play this card. I want to play this card. And to save time, I only took down 3 that I'm pretty excited for. So Loki, God of Mischief, goes in my crime deck. It's 1 and a blue, legendary creature, god, sorcerer, villain. It's a 2/1. And whenever a player or permanent becomes the target of an ability you control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Like, I was excited when Voracious Bibliophile came out, and that's 4 mana and only works with spells you cast. And it just wasn't quite good enough, and I cut it. But I think this one makes the cut for card draw. Yeah, and then Super Adaptoid is a 2 mana legendary artifact creature, robot villain. And its power is star, and its toughness is 2. And it says, this creature's power is equal to the number of legendary creatures you control, whatever, that's not important. And whenever Super Adaptoid enters or attacks, choose another target creature. If that creature has haste and Super Adaptoid doesn't, put a haste counter on Super Adaptoid. Do the same for flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. So in Indominus Rex, whatever counters are on Indominus Rex, this gets it, and it's only 2 mana. So even if it's like a 2/2 or a 3/3, it's still a little mini Indominus Rex running around with the big boy. Big girl.
Watsy, you gotta stop giving this man cards for Indominus Rex. It's already enough of a menace. I don't need 2 on the battlefield.
There's that green creature with like 5 keywords on it too. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh,
I
it's
didn't
the
write
monkey.
That one down. Yeah. Hit Monkey?
Hit Monkey.
Yeah, Hit Monkey. Yeah, that one's going in Indominus Rex too.
Some of these names are so dumb.
And then you have Molecule Man. It's 6 mana and a legendary creature, but it looks like the coolest colorless commander I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
I've never been excited to build a colorless deck, but this deck looks like it'd be sweet. So I probably won't end up actually building it, but I'm like, I would build this deck and have a lot of fun. But it says it's 6 mana. Who cares about the power and toughness? This is the part that matters. Non-land cards in your hand have Miracle 0. 0. The first card you draw each turn costs 0 mana. Yeah, that's cool.
Bunch of top deck manipulations with some big bad boys in there.
Top deck and card draw, because you want to draw cards on other people's turns too. It looks freaking sweet. Casting spells for free at instant speed that shouldn't be cast at instant speed. Drawing cards on other people's turns.
Oh, I'm building this deck.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Blightsteel Colossus on your turn for 0. Already ready to go. Baby.
I couldn't wait until we did this, and I ended up talking to you about this card, or I probably would have picked this card to talk about.
Well, that is everything we have. I don't have honorable mentions. I did whatever. Before we end the episode, we like to talk about something that we have been hyper-fixated on within or without the world of magic. And you have something for us today that you are secretive about.
Well, I just wanted to get your raw reaction.
I'm sure it'll be great.
How do you feel about the fatigue from a ton of product being released?
Fatigued.
Do you? Yeah?
Yeah. It's not something that really affected me too much in the past, to be honest, because I very easily ignored sets that I didn't care about. But with doing this podcast and doing this episode, we were like, well, we have to look through all of these cards. And we've done it. We did it with the last one, which I was excited about, Strixhaven. So, that one was okay. But I felt it this time where I was like, I don't want to sit and read through these cards. We just had one of the best sets of the year, I'm sure, if not the best set. I don't want to think about this one. And we're already getting reprints from Spider-Man? Are you kidding me?
See, I've been thinking about it a lot, and we constantly have spoilers. It's like all the time now. But I like new things a lot more than you do. So I have not yet really felt fatigue. And I was wondering if it's my personality or if it happens to be that we entered Magic at a pretty unique time, in my opinion. Because shortly after we started playing, there was a lot going around about product fatigue. Oh, there's too much coming out, early 2020s, where we started playing just about that time, maybe a little before. And I was like, do we not feel the product fatigue quite like older Magic players do? Because they're used to, the 3 blocks and only 4 sets coming out a year. And now that there's twice that many, it's overwhelming to them. Or so we've just been accustomed to it. Or is it partly because when I started playing Magic, I already had to ask what every card did, so it's not weird to me to be like, what does that card do? Because I don't know it. It's from a new set, where older Magic players didn't have to ask that nearly as much as they do now. I'm excited every time new cards come out. Even Marvel, that I'm not a huge fan of, I'm still like, ooh, new cards, what do they do? I want to know.
I think it's probably a mix of the two. Some of it for me is the fact that I don't necessarily like new things as much. I like getting new toys to put into my decks. And when I finally actually put them in my decks after they've been sitting in a box for a year because I don't want to think about it, I enjoy playing them if I ever draw them into my hand. But with how constant it is, and it's your fault because I ignore it. And you go, hey, this should go in your deck. This should go in your deck. This should go in your deck. Here, setting it aside. And now I have this giant pile of cards that I didn't even pick for my decks sitting there waiting for me. And
okay, but you've told me no to plenty. Like I just constantly throw suggestions at you, and the ones that stick, you actually go with. Just to be clear, I'm not like, you need to rebuild your deck.
Yeah. So some of it is my personality where I don't want to do that all the time. Can we just let our decks chill and do the thing that they're supposed to do? I literally have had so many problems lately of, I just put this card in this deck. I haven't gotten to play it yet. I wasn't fully convinced of like how well it would do. And now I have 5 more cards for this deck. Do I take out one of the ones that I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty good, but it's not necessarily the best, but I know that it does a good job because I've played it many times? Or do I take out the new card that I don't know how it does, that I haven't even gotten to play? What do I do?
That's fair.
And then with the other part of it, things have still sped up since we started playing. Like there still has been an increase from when we started playing with how many things came out to where we're at now. We've seen some of the changes with Secret Lairs and how those are handled. We've seen definitely an increase of just actual main sets in the year. I do feel the difference from that as well. Probably not as drastic, which is probably why we don't scream about it as much as some people. Not that you don't have the right, I get it. Because you're right, it's such a huge difference from, 10 years ago to now compared to 6 years ago to now. But there still has been that increase, and I still do feel that increase.
Oh, I don't know. I have the hot take. Bring on the power creep. I think power creep's sweet. It makes the game fresh and exciting. And the more cards, the better. Is there a number that would overwhelm me? Maybe, but I don't know. I still don't think so with powerful search engines that can find cards that you need.
I don't have a problem with power creep. Bring on powerful cards. That's totally fine. There is a point where there's too many cards. We don't need this much saturation of new cards. And again, we're not standard players, so I really don't personally know the effect, but I've heard a lot of people talk about how this is affecting standard and the detriment that it is to have so much going on within the meta. I don't know. I think they could excuse me, chill the out. Just a little bit.
I'm going to keep having fun.
I'm going to keep having fun. I love this game, and, this doesn't change it. All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find us on TikTok at Dicentric Games for more Magic content and other nerdy shenanigans.
And if you'd like to share any of the quirks that Magic has hidden in their cards, join the Discord in the description. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, please leave a comment or send us an email.
We hope you learned something new about the cards that we talked about today. Let us know in the comments below if you're excited about Marvel, what card you're looking forward to, if you absolutely hate it, if you're tired of all this bullshit, if there's too much product going on, what your feelings are, any of the things that you want to talk to us about. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your week.
Click all the buttons.
Do all the things.
And we'll see you next time. Bye!